A Melbourne father has shared gruesome video of tiny sea creatures feasting on meat, a day after his son was savaged by the Burton Beach critters. Credit Jared Kaniza via Storeful Sam Kaniza, 16, in a Melbourne hospital after sustaining suspected bites from sea fleas at Brighton Beach. Picture Jared Kaniza, a teenager left bleeding profusely after sea crustaceans ate his skin at a Melbourne Beach remains in hospital. Shocking images of Sam Kaniza's lower legs and feet have been beamed around the world after the 16-year-old went for a dip at Brighton's Dendy Street Beach on Saturday night to cool his aching muscles following a tough game of footy. A sample of the creatures that attacked Sam, leaving him covered in scores of tiny pinprick-sized bites that would stop bleeding, have since been examined by an expert, after Sam's father Jared Kaniza returned to the same spot and collected them in a net. Museum's Victoria marine biologist Jennifer Walker-Smith examined part of the sample and found they were a scavenging crustacean known as lysine-acid amphipods. She said it was possible the bugs contained an anticoagulant similar to that produced by leeches, which explained the inability to stem the flow of blood. While the creatures are not venomous and cause no lasting damage, Sam remains in Dandenong Hospital unable to walk. Whenever he will move, it will open up those wounds, so I think there'll be some time, probably, on the couch when he gets home, Mr. Kaniza said. Sam Kaniza's legs were covered with blood when he emerged from the water. Picture Jared Kaniza source Sam Kaniza in a Melbourne hospital after sustaining suspected bites from sea fleas at a local bay. Picture Jared Kaniza source the horror incident hasn't stopped locals from getting back in the water at Brighton. Swimmers said they had never experienced anything like it. We swim there every day and we're in the water for anything from 15 to 30 minutes, and no one's ever experienced anything like this, Paul Duckett told Fairfax Media. This was a first, so that's why I query whether it's sea lice or some other creature that have caused the issue. Associate Professor at Monash University's School of Biological Sciences Richard Reyna, however, was confident Sam's bites were caused by sea fleas. I think it's very rare, Mr. Reyna told news.com.au. When it happens you brush it off, or move, or get out of the water and there's no consequence, whereas in this case, Sam was standing in cold water for quite a long time. He probably thought the pins and needles he described was the cold and didn't realize there were crustaceans chewing on his feet, Sam's father said. While his son was recovering in hospital, the family was waiting for answers and doctors had been at a loss to explain what had eaten through Sam's skin. When he got out, he described having sand on his legs, so he went back in the water. He said, he went back to his shoes and what he found was blood on his legs. As soon as we wiped them his legs down, they kept bleeding. He said, there was a massive pool of blood on the floor at the hospital. Associate Professor Reyna said sea fleas did not travel in a pack, but once a couple began chewing on his feet, releasing some blood into the water, others would have been attracted. They're very good at finding food, he said. It looked really bad in the photo. His feet looked like they went through a mincer, but it's a superficial injury and more like a graze than anything else. Because it's a larger area. It looks pretty terrible. I would expect and hope he will recover pretty quickly. Associate Professor Reyna said sea fleas were common in waters but had a theory about why they may have been hanging around Brighton on the weekend. Maybe the strong westerly winds pushed them towards the shore and they congregated on the eastern side of the bay where Sam went, he said. The night after Sam's attack, Mr. Kaniza went back to the beach with a pool net full of meat and captured the creatures he said were responsible. What is really clear is these little things really love meat, he said of a video shared with AAP, showing the bugs in a tray of water devouring chunks of meat. Footballer Will Murray was bitten by sea fleas in 2015. Picture Chris Eastman source News Corp Australia. Sam is not the first Melbourneian attacked by sea fleas. In 2015, a father and son were bitten while taking a dip at Sandringham Beach, in Melbourne's southeast. Nick Murray and his son will enter the cold water, also in the month of August. Mr. Murray told the Bayside Leader he did not feel pain initially and they only realized their feet were bleeding when they got out of the ocean. They sustained multiple bites to their lower legs and they saw the creatures still clinging to their feet once they'd washed away the blood. I wonder if it was just that night, just that spot, at that particular time, Mr. Murray said. We stood still for 10 minutes so it may not have happened if we moved about, but I would want to stand still there for a couple of hours or it may get quite bad. Nick Murray and his son Will were bitten by sea fleas in 2015, source supplied. Associate Professor Reyna said sea fleas should not alarm people or deter them from swimming. They are just little animals following their natural instinct and eating what they thought was a free meal, he said. The situation is really unusual and I don't think it's something people should be concerned about. They are quite small and mainly eat dead and dying animals, and because he was standing still while they were biting him gave them the opportunity, they would, and he thought he was dying or dead. The teen had been eaten by the sea fleas. In this picture taken Saturday, August 5, 2017 at Sandringham Hospital in Melbourne, teenager Sam Kanize's feet are seen covered in what looked like hundreds of bleeding little pinholes. Picture Jared Kanize app. Source app.